Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Grace Regato softball field for GBL baseball. Clint Glasgow entertaining Revere. Glasgow trying to go over 500. They're 2-2. Revere trying to stay perfect. They're 3-0 in this abbreviated season. Brooke Warren on the mound for a classical. Pop foul. She squared the bunt. This is, and I apologize. I know the coach very well from Revere. I didn't want to bother him because he was doing infield and stuff. He gave me a liner card, but all it had was last name. So this is Keith, the center fielder. Down the way for a ball. Swings and misses through that pitch. So it starts with a strikeout for Brooke Warren. And that one's hit at the center field for a base hit. Rathba, the second baseman, jumped on that first pitch and drilled it. And Revere has the first base runner in the first hit. Squares the bunt, pushes it foul. High for a ball. Popped up, it's going to go foul out of play. Waves at that pitch for strike three. So two strikeouts sandwiched around a hit. And Iacoviello, the catcher. I don't know why I think the name sounds so familiar, whether she was at St. Mary's. Popped up off the pitcher's glove. It was going to be a hit anyway. Warren was the only one that had a shot at it. She had to go back over her shoulder and reach over her head. It wasn't far enough for the second baseman to go get it. So 2-1 with two out for Uminski, the first baseman. I hope I'm getting this right. They give me the bottom copy of the third or fourth copy that they write through, and it doesn't go through as bright and as good as it does on the first two. So you wind up trying to figure out what the writing is. Down and away for a ball. So a strikeout, a hit, a strikeout, an infield hit. In for a strike, taking all the way. Kaminsky is the first baseman for Revere. They're the Patriots. It was the Patriots against the Rams. And that's in for strike two. Brooke Warren trying to come all the way back after being down 3-0. Swing and a miss. She strikes out the side. So that was an inning. Strikeout hit, strikeout hit, strikeout. So Revere threatens with 2 on with the 2 hits. Brooke Warren strikes out the side. And Fusco will be on the mound for Revere. And it will be Michaela Poisson, the left fielder, leading off. Isabella Fessler will catch and bat second. The right fielder, Rachel Dana, will hit number 3. Hitting in the cleanup spot is the pitcher, Brooke Warren. The other half of the Poisson family, Kylie, the shortstop, will hit number 5. Batting 6th is Emily Teneo, the designated player. She's hitting for Sailor Brinkler, the third baseman. Playing first base is Abigail Filer. The center fielder is Gianno Cioto, or Coedo. And second baseman, Reese Brinkler, hits number 9. So it's been a busy time for some of these classical players. They jump from basketball to volleyball to soccer, and their seasons went a little bit further because of the tournament, the GBL. All the leagues have been running now for at the end to get a few more games in. So they only had a couple of days of practice, and they had to get out of one sport and get out of the mindset for that sport to get into a mindset for the other sport. Now they're right back into it. The GBL started much later than everybody. They waited until February, so they were like a season behind everybody. We finally got on the same page, and everybody is now playing baseball and softball. But now Revere has only played 3 games. Classical's only played 4. St. Mary's girls have played 12 or 13 because the Catholic Central League started a lot earlier and were able to move along almost in the normal pace. They didn't play 20 games, although the St. Mary's girls basketball team played 23 games. But football for English and classical were 4 games. Basketball was only 7 in the league. You played the other 7 teams in the league once. Michaela Poisson, the left fielder, leads off for the Lady Rams. High for a ball. Swing and a miss. Fusco can bring it. She's very good. Quickly, it's 2-2. She bounced that one. That almost fell out of her hand. That didn't get halfway to the plate when it bounced in the dirt. So a payoff pitch up and coming. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So both pitchers start the game with a strikeout. Wide for a ball. Isabella Fessler, the catcher. High for a ball. Low for ball 3. So Fessler will be taking at least one pitch, maybe two, trying to become a base runner. And in for a strike. She'll still be fussy here with the count her way, 3-1. It's got to be a pitch she can handle. And it's high for ball 4. So both pitches started with strikeouts. Both pitches saw the second hitter get on base. Raffler got a base hit for Revere. Fessler gets the walk. Rachel Dana, one of those multi-sport athletes we talk about, down and away for a ball. No, now a late right hand coming up for the umpire, so I think he called it a strike. That was a very late right arm coming up. Foul tip held on to by the catcher. Rachel is the daughter of Derek Dana, the head coach, baseball, very good baseball coach, very good baseball player, formerly at St. Mary's, now the baseball coach at St. Mary's. High for a ball. Throw down the first. Low for a ball. 2-2 the count. Rachel Dana is the right fielder for the Lady Rams. Up and away for a ball. So she had her, now she's got to come in with a pitch. Swing and a miss. The runner takes off. She can't get deflected away. She steals second. The batter struck out. Throw was very high. Anderson, the shortstop, got a piece of it. Kept it from going in the outfield. It deflected away, but not far enough because Fessler had slid into second. Brooke Warren can help herself here if she gets a base hit. Swing and a miss. Pitcher against pitcher here in the bottom of the first. High for a ball. In for a strike. The umpire's got that very slow. He's probably saying strike. We can't hear him. But he's coming up with a very slow right hand. Hit foul out of play. Two outs, a runner at second, bottom of the first inning. And it still gives me a little bit of shivers to say Greater Boston League softball when it's classical or English. I still got to get used to it. Nice stop by the catcher, Iacoviello. And we just had the second umpire show up. High for a ball. Chase the high pitch, so both pitchers strike out the side. Warren gave up 2 hits. Both teams had a runner in scoring position. The walk and a stolen base for Classical, 2 base hits for Revere. But at the end of 1, we're still right back where we started, dead even. Classical nothing, Revere nothing at the end of 1. 6, 7, and 8 for Revere as we start the second inning. Anderson, the shortstop, there's 2 of them. And I'm assuming they're related, but I don't know their first names because I mentioned before, all I got were the last names of Revere on the lineup card he gave me. Swing and a miss. This Anderson is the shortstop, the number 6 hitter, leading off the second inning. Changeup popped up. Nice job by Fessler coming out in front of the plate. Nice pitch by Warren. She had Anderson way out in front. The pump up to the catcher is the first out. And that's the first out on either side. That's not a strikeout. I know I didn't get this name right. I tried to read it and I couldn't. I've got it as Casanoli, the right fielder. Popped off the backstop. Squared the bunt, took the pitch. All the infielders moving here, there, and everywhere. I think there was a strike. His right arm went up. Hit foul off the backstop. A few big puffy clouds off to our left. A couple off to our right. A nice night. It's cool. There's a breeze. But it's comfortable. Hit to second base. Re-sprinkler over to Abigail Filer. 2 up, 2 down. And the other half of the Anderson family, the third baseman, will be the hitter. Hit in the air to right field. Going back. Nice job. Rachel Dana. A few steps back, reached over his shoulder, made the one-handed catch. A 1-2-3 inning for Brooke Warren and the Lady Rams. And we'll move into the second inning. And Classical again will have a chance to get on the board first. It'll be Kylie Poisson, Emily Teneo, and Abigail Filer, the hitters. Fosco will start her second inning of work. Push on steps in. We'll start at the bottom of the second. Down and away for a ball. Fosco's thrown a few pitches. She walked one batter. And she's going 3-2 on almost all of them. Another late right hand going up for a strike. Up and in for a ball, 2-1. Erica Richards leading the way for the Lady Rams, the head coach. Swing and a miss. She does a very good job. She was a very good player. Swing and a miss for strike three. The beat goes on. Four outs, four strikeouts. Three of them swinging. Emily Teneo. She's the designated player hitting for the third baseman. Sailor Brinkler, one half of the Brinkler family. The other one, Reese, plays second base. And two very good athletes, multi-sport. Chased the high pitch, swung right through it. That one bounces in. Strike three called. Two up, two down. Abigail Fowler. I mentioned Dana was the coach of, what was the daughter of head coach Derek Dana at St. Mary's. As Fowler chases that high pitch. Abigail is the daughter of Timmy Fowler, who's been the assistant with Derek for many years. They do a great job with the boys team. They won the state championship 2 years ago because they didn't play last year. That was just a little bit high. That almost looked like slow pitch. She forgot to let go of that, hit the backstop on the fly about 3/4 of the way up. Another strike. Late swing. Slices it past first base, foul. That was almost by her when she swung at that one. Hit foul again. Ooh, that sounded like it hit a windshield, one of the parked cars. Strike 3 call. She strikes out the side again, except this time she doesn't give up a walk. So Samiris is down in the second. Still dead even. Classville nothing, Revere nothing at the end of 2. 9-1-2 for Revere as we start the third inning. Lozano, the left fielder, is the hitter. Swing and a miss. Tries the bunt and fouls it off. Swing and a miss. 4 strikeouts for Warren. Keefe, the center fielder, led off the game, striking out. Hits it foul off to the right side. Very nice play by Fessler. Almost a perfect bunt by Keefe. She laid it down, and the only one that could make a play was Fessler. She got to it quickly, made the very good throw to Filer at first. That's an outstanding play. So 2 up, 2 down. Rafa. She took that pitch. She hit the first pitch she saw into center field for a base hit. She wound up at second base in the first inning. Now she lines it in the right center field. Nice job by Dana to get there quickly and cut it off and hold it to a single. So she's 2 for 2. She hit the second pitch that time. She went the other way with it. And now Fusco, the pitcher, throws right, bats left. She struck out swinging in the first inning. They squeeze in thinking she's going to slap or bunt. Slaps it foul out of play. She looks bigger on the mound than she does at home plate. I knew they weren't pinch hitting, but wide for a ball. Everybody tries. The center fielder is going to cover second base if the ball's hit to the infield. Way up and away. Nice job by Fessler to go get it. Hold the runner at first. So Warren had retired 6 in a row before she gave up the hit to Rafa. Hit. That play is going to go 8-6 for the force out. Center fielder, Coito, fielded it. Shortstop covers second. They get the force at second. You don't see that very often. 8-6. And we'll move into the bottom of the third, still scoreless. So they got a base runner with the base hit. And a very unusual, it almost could have been, the center fielder could have almost beat her to the bag and made an unassisted putout. Everybody was playing shallow, looking for Fusco to just slap or bunt. And the center fielder was playing very shallow. And the ball was hit to her, and she just flipped it to the shortstop, covering second for the force out. And a very unusual 8-6 force out. 8-9-1 for the Lady Rams as we start the bottom of the third inning. Gianna Coito, and again, I gotta find out how to pronounce that name. I hope I'm getting close. Reese Brinkler, and then back to the top of the order, Michaela Poisson. This is a young classical team. They don't have a lot of seniors. Fusco starts her third inning of work. Safe at first base. She beat the bunt. That popped way up in the air. Guido gets the first hit for Classical. It'll bring up Reese Sprinkler. Soccer player, basketball. Might have been on that volleyball team that did extremely well. She gets the bunt down. She's safe. Back-to-back bunts. Two on, nobody out. Michaela Poisson struck out swinging. And you would think it would be a third bunt to try, if nothing else, to move the runners up. So Revere huddling on the mound. It gives Erica Richards a chance to huddle with her players, the base runners and the hitter. I think I said Erica Richards. It's Erica Richard. She's one of my favorite people. She does a great job here. She's very interested in the kids. Got a great personality. Hit foul off the backstop, so no bunt here. Push on swinging away. Up and away for a ball. So Revere tried small ball, and Fessler made a great play throwing the hitter out. Classical tries it. They get two base runners and two hits. And now she squares the bunt. Didn't really square the bunt, tried to run and bunt, and fouled it off. High for a ball. Swing and a miss. Every out has been a strikeout. Isabella Fessler, we talked about the great play she made behind the plate, throwing the bunter out. She was the only base runner coming into this inning. She drew a walk. In for a strike. Up and away for a ball. 1-1 the count. Way up and away. 2-1. Low for a ball. 3-1. So Fessel will be very fussy here. Hit foul past third base, and the count goes full. Coito, the runner at second. Brinkler, the runner at first. Both got perfectly placed bunts for base hits. A strikeout for the first out, and now the payoff pitch. Up and coming. Line by the outfield all the way to the fence. That's going to score 2. Around second. Heading for third. In with a triple. Fessler made the great defensive play, and now she makes a great offensive play. She got all of that one and ripped it all the way to the fence past the fielders. Coito scored easily from second. Brinkler all the way from first. A runner at third with 1 out for Rachel Dana. She made a big play in the top of the inning. Rafa got the base hit to right center field. Dana got over to it quickly and held it to a single. And that was a big play because if she gets to second base, the ball that was hit to the center fielder could have easily have been a base hit instead of a force at second. And they may have got a run, but minimum they would have had first and third, and the inning would have continued. Squared like she was going to bunt, and everybody charging. It wasn't a suicide. The runner wasn't coming. She was called out on strikes her first trip. She's a multi-sport athlete, as I mentioned before. Down and away, 2-0. I was waiting to see if he put his right arm up. Tries to bunt, pushes it foul. Way wide for a ball. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. She gets Dana looking for the second time. 2-way now. And once again, Brooke Warren can help herself. She was up the first time with a runner at second. Now she's up with a runner at third. Way up in the air. Coviello went up and grabbed that one. Low for a ball, 2-0. Brooke struck out swinging in her first trip. Chases that high pitch again, swings through it. I guess that was a strike. Way high for a ball. Way up for ball 4. Well, Warren gets a walk and extends the inning. I'm sure we're probably going to have a pinch runner. And these old eyes cannot pick up the runner at first base. Her number, especially if she's not turned around. Kylie Poisson was also a strikeout victim. All the outs have been strikeouts. 8 outs, 8 strikeouts. Hit foul to the first baseman. Way up and in. Delaney Dana is the runner. Boy, that looked high and tight, but he called it strike 3. But Glasgow comes up. 2 big bunts to put runners on, and then the big triple by Fessler. And we played through 3 here at the Grace Regato Field. And Brooke Warren will take the mound with a lead as it's Glasgow 2, Revere nothing at the end of 3. 4, 5, and 6 for Revere. Aya Coviello, the catcher. She had a little pop-up just beyond the reach of Brooke Warren on the mound and just in front of the second baseman. Had beat it for a base hit. In for a strike. Way up for a ball. Hit foul out of play. 1-2 the count to the Revere catcher, leading off the top of the 4th. Off-speed pitch popped up. Nice pitch by Warren. And Iacoviello way out in front. And she get a little soft pop-up to the second baseman. What a nice pitch by Brooke Warren. Yaminsky, the first baseman, has struck out. And that pitch is in for a strike. Hit foul off the backstop. Quickly 0-2. Hit foul off the backstop again. Up and away for a ball. Pop back, foul, out of play. Kaminsky hanging around. There's that off-speed pitch hitting the air. Foul ball. Way out in front of that pitch. Pulled it well, foul. Strike three called. Nice pitch by Warren. Anderson, the shortstop, popped up to the catcher. Popped up. Brinklow with the little basket catch running to it. She makes 2 plays in the inning on the pop-up. Second 1-2-3 inning for Brooke Warren. Picks up her 5th strikeout. We're halfway through the ball game. Glasgow holding on to a 2-0 lead over Revere. My car is right in front of the school. I'm old, I need help.
Actually, Billy, I'm gonna get moving. We got a dinner tonight. All right, you too. That was great. I'm gonna tell Emerson those stories.
All right. So it's the switcher? Well, what did you say?
It's a switcher.
How you doing?
The zip is up.
I'm going good. How you doing?
Hey, I think I remember you.
Yeah, faintly. How are you? Doing good?
So far, so good.
So far, so good?
I complained if I thought somebody would listen.
Nobody gives a shit.
I know. Six, 7, and 8 for the Lady Rams as we start the bottom of the 4th inning. Everything is not a hit is a strikeout. Fusco has struck out 9. All outs, all 9 outs are strikeouts. Down and away for a ball. Emily Tenillo hitting for Sailor Brinkler, leading off this 4th inning. Down and away again. Glasgow bunched 3 hits in the 3rd inning, 2 of them perfectly placed bunts. And then Fessler put the exclamation point with a triple. And that's ball 4. So for the 2nd inning in a row, Glasgow has the leadoff hitter on base. Abigail Filer. The first baseman is the hitter. We'll look for a bunt here. Squares, gets it down. Nice play by the third baseman. Finally gets the job done. So the sacrifice moves Teneo. Teneo over to second base. Gianna Coito laid down the first of the two perfect bunts and scored the first run. Waves at that pitch. Popped out of play. One out, one on here at the bottom of the fourth. Classical on top, 2-0 over Revere. Greater Boston League softball. Hit foul again. She chased that high pitch. Bounced off one of the cars. Thankfully, it wasn't mine. Way up in the air for a ball. Nice job, but the guy was driving through by Breed. He stopped the car and chased the foul ball and threw it back. That's a nice job by. Hit foul again over in that direction. So we don't have a car going by, but we have a young man on a bike chasing it down. All kinds of help here. So that sacrifice that moved the runner over was the first out that wasn't a strikeout. Now she gets back in the groove and gets a strikeout. Reese Brinkler, perfect bunt, scored the second run. Hit in the air to right field, over near the line. It drops in for a base hit. A big two-out hit. A big two-out hit by Brinkler, her second hit. So the walk hurt, followed by a very nice sacrifice by Abigail Filer. And Reese Brinkler comes up with a big two-out hit and pushes the lead to 3-0. And I'll bring up Michaela Poisson. So Brinkler's 2 for 2 with a run scored and an RBI. She's 2/3 of the offense. Down and away for a ball. We mentioned Revere 3-0. Glasgow have played one more game. They're 2-2. In for a strike. Slicing foul off to the right side. Reese Brinkler just found a spot. The right fielder was off the line for a right-hand hitter. Brinkler just found a spot inside the foul line. And you always have to mention Reese Brinkler, Shayla Brinkler. I've known the family forever. Another strikeout. And their mother was a cheerleader for the Patriots. 2 more strikeouts in the inning, but yet another run for Classical on the big 2-out hit by Reese Sprinkler. We're through 4. Classical is up their lead. It's now 3-0 Classical over Revere at the end of 4. First pitch is fouled off the backstop as we start the 5th inning. 7, 8, and 9, the bottom 3 for Revere. And again, I know I'm not getting this name correctly, but it was very hard to read the writing. I'm saying Casanoli. Popped up. Center fielder coming on. Nice job, Gianna Corrido. One up, one down. In the 5th. And Anderson, the third baseman, flied out to Dana in right field. Her one trip. Popped up, foul back over the backstop. Off-speed pitch, hit the shot. They threw it low. They couldn't come up with the throw. Poisson had it. Made long throw just in front of Filer, the first baseman. Couldn't scoop it. Little short hop. So the error allows Anderson to reach. Lozano, the left fielder, struck out. Hits it high and deep, all the way back to the fence. A stand-up double. So now it's second and third with one out. And that brings Coach Richard out to talk to the troops. That was a shot and a half by Lozano. Keith, the center fielder, was struck out, and she tried to bunt. Fessler made a great play throwing her out. We're in the top of the 5th, 3-0 Classical, but now Revere looking to get back in it. A little help from the Lady Rams, the error, and now a booming triple, a booming double. Puts second and third, the tying run comes to home plate with one out. Missing wide for a ball. This is a big out because coming up next is Rafa, the second baseman, who's got 2 solid hits. That's a strike, 1-1. Down and away for a ball. Revere, this being Wednesday, Revere will be right back here Friday night taking on Lynn English. Popped up. That's a big out. Brooke Warren takes care of it herself. Two-way, and now a good hitter. Rafa, we told you. She lined the first pitch she saw into center field. She lined the second pitch the next time up into right field for a base hit. So she's 2 for 2. She's a tough out. Down and away for a ball. Down the way again, 2-0. They tagged the runner. The runner got a late start. They hit it off the pitcher. Brooke Warren went to get it. The runner, very late, breaking for the plate, gets thrown out at home. So second and third, Rafa would have had her third hit. I'm not sure. The runner at third stayed, thinking Warren might have caught it. Then it deflected. She didn't stay. She took off and was thrown out by a mile at home plate. So what looked like a threat, second and third. Second and third, one out. Revere's best hitter up. And Klasko gets a break. Moving into the bottom of the fifth. 2, 3, and 4. For the Lady Rams, and leading off is Isabella Fessler, who was the difference in the game. She tripled in the first 2 runs. Also made that outstanding defensive play on a would-be bunt for a hit. But, you know, that's a case of if you're going to go, you go. If you don't go, you don't go. I'm not sure what's happening now. The catcher is going to the dugout for some reason. Iacoviello. I don't know what happened there. She wasn't up. She didn't run the bases, so we'll have. I think they're looking at her in the dugout. She's back behind the plate, and they're going to let her catch a couple. I don't know what that was all about. I don't know whether she was feeling woozy or she didn't get hurt because she wasn't running the bases, or she didn't get hit by a foul tip. She was on the bench. She came out, loosened up, and then all of a sudden walked to the dugout for some reason. But thank God she's okay. Fessler is perfect. She's walked and tripled in 2 runs. Up and away for a ball. That one bounces in. So Fessler will look at least 1, maybe 2, trying to get on base. That one hits the backstop on the fly, so on 4 pitches. Third walk given up by Fusco, second to Fessler. She's on for the 3rd time. I think that was a strike. He pointed one way and then brought the right arm up. I don't know if he was pointing. Rachel Danner has been called on strikes twice. Swing and a miss. In with a stolen base is Fessler. Fessler and the throw got there at the same time, but the throw was a little bit high. Anderson had to bring the glove down, and by that time, Fessler was on the bag. Up and away for a ball. I thought they might try to bunt to the third. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout. We mentioned Fessler had 2 of the 3 walks given up by Fusco. Brooke Warren has the other one last time up. She struck out her first time, walked the last time. This is the 3rd time she's been up with a runner in scoring position. Both times, the first 2 times were with 2 outs. Slices it out of play. Yeah. I'm in the middle of a game, Chris. I'll call you back. What?
Don't tell me it's a lot different because it's not a lot different. It's very similar.
I can't hear you. I'll call you back. I don't. She's home sleeping, I guess. High for a ball. This ball forward gets by the catcher. Fessler hustles over to third. So first and third. Glasgow is hoping Lightning strikes 3 times. They got the leadoff hitter on in the third. They scored 2. They got the leadoff hitter on in the fourth. They scored 1. Now Fessler got a leadoff walk, and they have first and third with 1 out. I believe it's Dana again running at first. And she takes off and goes to second. So it's second and third for Kylie Poisson, the shortstop, who has struck out twice, 1 swinging, 1 called. And she'd love to put the ball in play. She's looking for a hit, obviously, but she'd like to put the ball in play and get at least 1 run in. She gets the bunt down, and they got the runner hooked up. She almost could have got back to third because they dropped the ball, and now they finally tag her out. Nice play by the third baseman. Anderson faked the throw to first, and he caught the runner off. Nice defensive play. Faked the throw, and she might have been able to get back to third base when they threw the first throw. It was in the dirt. Iacoviello had to muffle a little bit, had to dig it out. But she hung up between third, and they got her out easily. In for a strike. Emily Teneo has struck out, walked, and scored. So Glasgow had a threat first and third. And now they hit Teneo. She's on for the second time. And that loads the bases. Abigail Filer has struck out and sacrificed. way up for a ball. Started to pull the trigger and just held up. High again. Likes that high pitch. Started to pull the trigger again. It's 2-0. That one bounces. Nice stop by Iacovello. Now, Filer's got to be looking at 2 pitches here. It's 3-0 with the bases loaded. And that's ball 4. Filer gets an RBI. They do it without a hit. 3 walks and they hit batsman. Gianna Coito bunted for a hit and scored. Last time up, she struck out swinging. So Glasgow gets it done. 3 straight innings, they put the leadoff hitter on. 3 straight innings, they scored. They now lead it 4-0. And they still have the bases loaded with 2 outs. In for a strike. Hit off the second baseman. Out at the plate. They get 1 run. The other one is thrown out. Guido gets a base hit, an RBI. Glasgow gets 2 in the inning. To deflection, they throw it to the plate. Good hustle by the center fielder with the throw. Nice tag by Iacoviello. But Glasgow gets it done again. They put 2 on the board. They do it with 2 outs. The 2-out walk and the 2-out hit by Coito. We finished 5. Glasgow now leading it 5-0 over Revere. 3, 4, and 5. Fusco the pitcher. Everybody shrivels in. They're looking for her to bunt or slap. She struck out the first time. She looked like she had a base hit. She hit it into center field, but everybody's playing so tight. The center fielder fielded it and threw her out and threw a force out at second base. The play went 8-6 for the force at second. Took a hit away from Fusco. That was the same inning that Fessler made the great defensive play throwing out the bunter. So it could have been a much bigger inning for Revere. She reaches for that, slaps it past the Glasgow dugout. Way up and away. This is the 3rd inning in a row that the league progressively gets better for Brooke Warren. She takes the mound. She started the 4th inning ahead 2-0. The 5th inning 3-0. Now she starts the 6th inning ahead 5-0. Slaps it to short. Nice play. No wasted effort by the shortstop, Kylie Poisson. Just a little love tap. Fusco gets an extra step going down the line. Poisson got it very quickly to the first baseman, Filer. 1 up, 1 down in the 6th. Iacoviello singled and popped to second. This time she pops to first. Two quick outs. Her single was a little pop-up over the pitcher's head, just beyond Brooke Warren and just in front of Brinkler. Yaminsky has struck out twice, once called and once swinging. Popped up, in for a base hit. So a 2-out single keeps the inning alive. It brings up Anderson, who's popped to the catcher and popped to second base. And she pops up to the pitcher. So she spreads it around to the catcher, the second baseman, and now the pitcher. So the 2-out hit doesn't do any damage at all. Revere is down to their last 3 outs. In the bottom of the 6th, it'll be 9-1-2 for Glasgow. Reese Sprinkler, Michaela Poisson, Isabella Fessler. Fusco will start her 6th inning of work. She looked untouchable through the first 2 innings. She struck out 6, 1 base run, a walk. She struck out the side in the 3rd as well, but she gave up 3 hits. She got 2 more strikeouts in the 4th, but a walk cost her. And then she kind of lost it in the 5th. She walked 3 and hit a batter for 1 run. And then Gianna Coito got a big 2-out hit to knock in the 2nd run. And Glasgow has a 5-run lead. Reese Blinkler has made a couple of putouts at second base. She's already also got 2 base hits, scored a run and knocked in a run. She scored the 2nd run and knocked in the 3rd with a big 2-out hit. So Glasgow's got a couple of big 2-out hits. That pitch goes behind her. Sprinkler with a big 2-out hit. Coito with a big 2-out hit. Swing and a miss. 1-2 the count. Reese Sprinkler, again, one of those multi-sport athletes at Glasgow. Swings through that pitch. They get her for the first time. "13 strikeouts for Fusco. And she's on the short end of the 5-0 score. Michaela Poisson has struck out 3 times, all swinging. High for a ball. Fusco has walked 6. Only one of them scored, 1 forced in a run. The hit batsman prolonged the inning, followed by a walk and a hit. Slice foul. So the hit batsman figured in the scoring, even though the hit batsman didn't score. Almost scored. They threw Teneo out at the plate. She was the one that got hit by the pitch. And getting hit by the pitch, she extended the inning. Filer drew a walk for a run, and then Coito got her big 2-out single, knocking in the second run. That's what pushed the lead to 5. Way up for a ball. Strike 3 called. "14 strikeouts. Isabel Fassler is perfect. Walked, tripled in 2, and walked. In for a strike. Glasgow's got 5 hits, but they've bunched them and got them at big times. We mentioned 2 of them were 2 outs. Plus a little late swing on that off-speed pitch. Knocked it off the backstop. High for a ball. Low for a ball. Hit off the pitcher's glove. Nice job by the shortstop Anderson. That play goes 1 to 6 to 3. Looked like Fessel was going to be on for the 4th time. She hit it off the pitcher, but Anderson made a great play, getting to it, throwing her out. And here we go into the 7th inning. Glasgow 3 outs away from knocking Revere out of the undefeated ranks. We finished 6, Glasgow 5, Revere nothing. Bottom 3 for Revere. Casanoli, Noli, ground to the second, fly to center. Pops it foul out of play. Fusco, the pitcher, gave up 5 hits. Struck out 14. Only 1 inning did she get 1 strikeout. She got at least 2 in the other 5. She struck out the side 3 times. But she walked 5 and hit a batter. 1 of the walks scored, and the hit batsman prolonged the inning, followed by a walk that forced in a run and a 2-out hit that got the second run in and extended the lead to 5. Hit to right field. Dana almost didn't move. She took a couple steps right, left, hit virtually right at her. Rachel Dana makes the play. 1 up, 1 down in the 7th inning. Anderson flied to right, reached on an error, and she wound up at third base, and she was the one that was thrown out on that wacky play. It looked like Revere was getting back in the game with 2nd and 3rd and 1 out, trailing 3 to nothing, and their best hitter, Raffer, up. That was when Raffer hit the ball. It went off the pitcher. The runner at third held, thinking it might be caught, but then at the last minute decided maybe I can score, and they threw her out the plate ending the inning. That was as close as Revere has come. They had 2 on in the first, a 2-out hit in the second, a 2-out hit in the 6th. Chase, that pitch was way out of the strike zone. Off-speed pitch, hit the shot. Poisson, that's Kylie Poisson, with another nice play. Revere down to the last out. Lozano, the left fielder, is struck out swinging and hit a shot into left center field for a double. That was when Revere put runners at second and third with one out. Brought the tying run to home plate. And that was when the runner at third held after a pop-up to the pitcher for the second out. The runner at third held when the ball was hit back to the pitcher. And then when it was knocked down and drifted a couple of feet away from Brooke Warren, the runner thought she could score and was dead to rights at the plate. That's the closest Revere has come. Rafa has 2 hits for Revere. Iacoviello has 1. Uminski has 1. And the double by Lozano was the other one. Swing and a miss for strike 3. What an exclamation point on that game. Great job by Brooke Warren. She shuts Revere out. Revere loses for the first time. They go to 3-1. She gives up 5 base hits, strikes out 6, didn't walk a batter. That was really important. She scattered the hits. They had 2 on with 2 out in the first. They got a 2-out hit in the third. They got a 2-out hit in the sixth. They got an error and a double in the fifth with 1 out, but Brooke Warren got a big out with a pop-up back to her on the mound and then made the play, throwing the runner out at the plate. So Revere doesn't score. She shuts them out. On the other side, 2 perfect bunts by Coito and Brinkler to start the third inning, and a big triple by Fessler was all Brooke Warren needed. Knocked in the 2 runs. And then in the fourth, a walk to Tenio. Filer with a perfect sacrifice. And the first of big 2-out hits, Reese Brinkler dumped it into right field for a base hit, made it 3-0. In the fifth was when Fusco kind of lost it. After an out, a walk, a fielder's choice, a hit batsman extended the inning. That was followed by a walk to Filer, who got an RBI with the bases loaded, the walk, and then another big 2-out hit by Gianna Coito. Knocked in the second run, made it 5-0, and that was the final score. So for Glasgow, Fessler had 2 walks, a triple, knocked in 2. Rachel Dana made a couple of very nice plays in right field. Brooke Warren walked twice. Running for her was Dana that scored the run. Poisson reached on a fielder's choice and scored a run. Emily Tenio had a walk, got hit by a pitch, scored a run, and getting hit by the pitch extended the inning, helped Glasgow get 2 more runs. Filer laid down a perfect sacrifice that set up the 3rd run on the 2-out hit by Brinkler. She also drew a walk, getting an RBI with the bases loaded. Gianna Coito get the offense started with the first perfect bunt. Got that 2-out hit. She scored 1, knocked in 1. And Reese Brinkler got the second of the perfect bunts. She had 2 base hits. She scored a run, knocked in a run. As virtually everybody got involved. Kylie Poisson played very well at shortstop. And Glasgow's defense got it done. The pitching by Warren didn't walk a batter, gave up only the 5 hits. Struck out 6, didn't walk a batter. And Glasgow will jump over the 500 mark. They'll go to 3-2. Revere will drop to 3-1 as they lose for the first time. And Revere will be right back here on Friday to take on Lynn English. So 5-0 Glasgow shuts out Revere. We hope you enjoyed it. I'm John Hoffman saying we'll see you next time.